Welcome to a concert review. It's Best of All Worlds, the show in Los Angeles, the Fabulous Forum. It was August 19th, 24, the tour everybody's been waiting for, the Van Halen extravaganza. With opening act Loverboy, Loverboy hit the stage at 7 p.m. sharp. Like I tell people, you can set your watch to the set times. They are like a military operation. But of course, Loverboy around since 79, lots of hits. Mike Reno vocals, Paul Dean, of course, on guitar, Matt Frenette on drums, Doug Johnson, keyboards, and Ken Spider Sanav on bass. Great, great band. Of course, they went through their hits. They only had about a half hour, 40 minutes. So they led off with Notorious, Into Lucky Ones, into 11 every minute of it. The sound was dialed in, was booming. They had this giant backdrop. You can see just the corner of it there. It's the cover of Get Lucky, where the guy's got his hands behind the butt and he's crossing his fingers. Get Lucky is the album cover. Of course, the monster guitar of Paul Dean, one of the main writers. Of course, Robert Mutt Lang was a writer on Lovin' Every Minute of It. They announced, Mike Reno said, this is the first song we ever put out. 79 Vancouver. I was actually based up there, met the guys early on. They were affiliated with Bruce Allen, of course, who had managed BTO back in the day and also managed his whole career, Bryan Adams. And here's his new band, Loverboy. First album took off. Second album, boom. Take Me to the Top. This song, Hot Girls in Love. They mentioned something about all the beautiful California girls. Of course, and Turn Me Loose with the big keyboard intro led into Mike Reno going back to the drummer, Matt. Mike asked the drummer, he said, "Hey, we're here in LA, all the celebrities. I heard you got a phone call today." Matt said, yeah, I did. Mike says, who was it? He said, Christopher Walken. And you heard a little, what? In the crowd. And Mike Reno says, what'd he say? Matt says, more cowbell. Boom, boom. Working for the weekend. That cowbell intro, they were off and running, spine tingling, mega hit, closing the 8-song set of Loverboy from Vancouver, British Columbia. What a great opening act for the Best of All World show. Then after a short intermission, lights went down in the Fabulous Forum, home with so many championships of the world champion Lakers and so many thousands of shows over the years. Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, all the greats played the Forum. And they showed an intro video, which was a little retrospective on Sammy's career. And then boom, amazing multi-million-dollar video screens. The slide says, Michael Anthony, Sammy Hagar, the best of all worlds. Then the man of the hour, Joe Satriani, Satch, his slide up there. What an incredible addition to the tour. Of course, these three front guys were part of the supergroup Chickenfoot, super underrated band, along with Chad Smith and the Chili Peppers on drums. Second tour I saw at the Universal Amphitheater with Kenny Aronoff. Then the son of Bonzo, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin, Mr. Jason Bonham on drums. And of course, Sammy comes out and they launch into the first song. Good Enough from the Van Halen album, 5150, the opening track, leads off the 21-song set, which included a 3-song medley. So technically 24 songs. Pound Cake, of course, from For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Joe Satriani comes out with the drill. Sounded fantastic. The video screens, the sound was booming. I swear. There was a lot of ringing ears the next day. That is for sure. This Van Halen extravaganza, 15 Van Halen songs plus all the Montrose, Chickenfoot, and Sammy solo hits. It was an unbelievable show. Sammy, who turned 77 in October on his birthday in Cabo Wabo, is a freak of nature, no question about it. They go right into Run Around, and then Sammy straps on his guitar, joking to Satriani that, he better step it up. And he remarked, I even used to say that to Ed. So they launch into There's Only One Way to Rock. Of course, a staple even in the Van Halen days with Sammy, Edward, Alex, and Michael. And they go into Judgment Day. And the sixth song, surprise to me, one of my second favorite Van Halen song of all time, and that's Panama. I graduated high school in Panama, Central America, 76, the bicentennial summer while Van Halen was writing a lot of these songs. I moved all over the world. I moved to Vancouver after that, after living in England and Texas and all over the place, and moved to LA in 80. Little did I know I was right down the block on the same street as Van Halen's childhood home. But it was Panama that is extra special for me. The interplay between Michael and Sammy, phenomenal as always, all the way back to the Van Halen days. 4 #1 albums Sammy brought him. But Panama had, every song had their own videos, graphics, big giant video screen behind the band. And there was a big video screen below the riser, which had Jason Bonham and Riz, the amazing keyboardist and backing vocalist. Great addition to the tour. He's from Australia. So Panama, extra special. From there, they went into 5150. And of course, from the album of the same name, Summer Nights. As Sammy's always said, the first song he ever completed with the new Van Halen up at the studio with Ed, Al, and Michael. Very, very special rendition. Again, the sound was booming, the lights, the video screens. You could tell it was a very special night in Los Angeles, the hometown of Michael Anthony and Van Halen. And of course, more importantly, Sammy Hagar was born and grew up in Fontana, just east of LA and Pasadena. And it was a homecoming in many, many ways. The alien, Satch himself, Joe Satriani, brought the house down. Every song, not only right up there with the great Van Halen sound, but always added his own touch. It was never a complete carbon copy clone. Joe had the tastiest guitar work, the video screens booming. Sammy, of course, all over the stage. Michael Anthony put in a super workout from not only all of the backing vocals, all the amazing bass, singing with Sammy in a shared microphone, but now he takes the stage center and does lead vocals for the next song. The one and only backing vocalist and bass player from Van Halen since day one. First album, my favorite song of all time with Van Halen. Song number 9 of the set, Ain't Talking About Love. You know the album, Running with the Devil, of course, starts with Michael's incredible bass, backing vocals, into Eruption, which took everybody's heads off. The world's never been the same since Eruption, into You Really Got Me, the first single, which put Van Halen on the map. And then boom, Ain't Talking About Love. What a classic debut album, one of the best ever. And this was song number 9. Gave Sammy a quick breather. Of course, at his age, he is putting in extra duty. And wherever he can, this and Satch Boogie were the 2 chances he could take a breather, relieve himself, and get right back onto it. But special accolades to Michael Anthony for lead vocals, and of course, the boom and bass and camaraderie with Sammy like never before. Sammy back on stage, they burst into Top of the World and into Best of Both Worlds. Riz, the keyboard player, came down on the ground, did the little Truck and Van Halen thing where all the guys are in celebration together. Of course, the title of the tour, Best of All Worlds, taken from that song, and just incredible synergy. Like I say, the sound was unbelievable. I know a lot of people woke up with these songs ringing in their ears for at least a day or two. But yeah, what a lineup. Coming after Loverboy, it was nonstop. Like I say, 21 songs, including a 3-song medley, 24 technically. And the next breather, Satch Boogie, Joe Satriani, comes forth, wailing all night. That guy never took a break. And he is all over one of his solo songs before the band launches into the Seventh Seal, the lead-off track of the last album with Sammy and the band, Balance, 1995. And of course, they had some surreal video playing behind. I thought they might have that incredible album cover of Balance with the conjoined twins on there, the yin and the yang, but it was some real wild kind of science fiction video they had playing behind the band at this point. The band launched into Right Now, the big hit, the monster MTV classic video from For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. The album produced by Andy Johns, up at 5150. An incredible album. The Four with Sammy, of course, 5150, OU 812, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge and Balance. Right Now really hit a nerve. Everybody was up on their feet. This is the 14th song of the set and launched right into Why Can't This Be Love, the first single with Sammy when he joined the band, the big leadoff hit for 5150. Again, some people doubted. They thought, did they push Roth out of the band? What happened? Well, Dave actually left the band. And if they would have just come with a no-name singer, I'm not sure it would have taken off. But being fans of Sammy all the way back to the Montrose days, they used to play Make It Last and others back in the club days. They were ecstatic to meet up with Sammy. And I know you know the story where Ed was getting his Lamborghini worked on by Claudio Zampoli there on Van Nuys Boulevard, the big Italian sports car shop, the #1 Italian mechanic in town. And Ed's a little down. He says, yeah, man, my singer just left the band. Not sure what we're going to do. By the way, whose Ferrari is that over there? He's looking at this unbelievable Ferrari. And Claudio says, oh, that's Sammy's, Sammy Hagar. You should call him. Get him in your band. Not knowing anything about music, this Italian sports car mechanic is suggesting to Ed to call Sammy. He says, you got his number? Yeah, I got it right here. From the shop, he calls Sammy and says, hey, man, Ross out. You should come over and jam. Of course, Sammy was based in Northern California, said this was on a Friday. He says, all right, I'll be down there Monday. Flew down, went up Coldwater Canyon to 5150 Studios. And of course, like I say, Summer Nights was the first song they cut, but the album really hit radio hard with Why Can't This Be Love? This was the 15th song of the set. Best of All Worlds, The Forum, Los Angeles, August 19th, 24. Next up, a showcase for Sammy, the solo album he made after 5150, the contractually obligated album he had to make for Geffen to complete that deal. And of course, Ed was all over the album playing bass and helping write. He played Eagles Flies, the 16th song, before they launched into Mas Tequila, a celebration of the lifestyle of Cabo Wabo, Cabo San Lucas, and of course, which led to the massive business success of Sammy Hagar and the Cabo Wabo tequila brand. Sammy continued with the mega hit Heavy Metal from the animated picture of the same name. They had incredible high energy, wild hot rod graphics on the video screens. And they launched from that right into Can't Drive 55. So a lot of high revving Ferrari, hot rod, Lamborghini type stuff from the man himself, the Red Rocker. And of course, his love and passion for his partner in crime, Michael Anthony. One half of Van Halen, 2/3 of the living members of Van Halen from this whole era. And of course, what history with Montrose and Chickenfoot with the two of them together with Joe Satriani, which led to the next medley. With the big Montrose debut album cover on the video screen, Joe Satriani does an amazing intro, messing around, crazy sounds, and launches into a supercharged version of the Montrose classic, Space Station Number 5. You know it. Sammy's got that big scream at the beginning, reminiscent of Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song, is absolutely a barn burner. And from there, they go right into the Chickenfoot song, Bigfoot, which again, Joe Satriani's got an amazing guitar tone. The instrumentation, the production, the lighting, the video screens, and the sound was absolutely phenomenal all night. From there, part of this 3-song medley, they go into Jump. Of course, the crowd is singing. Sammy lets the crowd sing, leads them on. Michael Anthony from the famous mega hit, leading off the 1984 album. This was song number 23 in this set, really, with this 3-song medley, before they closed it all out with When It's Love, Van Halen. So after all this incredible high energy, they kind of brought it into a sentimental mode. Sammy, Michael Anthony, Joe Satriani, Jason Bonham sent the sold-out Forum crowd into the night. What can I say? 21 songs with a 3-song medley, 24 tracks in total. Wow. Super anticipated. They're now hitting Phoenix, then down to Texas, and then over to 3 shows in Japan. And Sammy starts celebrating, of course, 1st of October, 2 shows at the Palms, the Palms Hotel in Vegas, the resort, and then down to Cabo for his traditional 3 shows at Cabo Wabo. I've been down there one of the years. It is an amazing party, an intimate club, and a good time had by all. Literally, you can stumble out that club down to the beaches of Cabo San Lucas, sand on the streets of Cabo. It's unbelievable, the lifestyle that Sammy's been able to bring and celebrate, not only with the Cabo Wabo clubs, and now, of course, he's got the rum, he's got the new tequila, he's got the sparkling alcohol drinks. What an entrepreneur. Of course, he's got multiple restaurants that he gives so much of the food to the food banks, helps the homeless in every city without making a big deal out of it. Doesn't need a big giant fake check or a photographer or a publicist to advertise it. He just does it from the goodwill. One of the good guys in rock and roll. Hats off to Sammy Hagar for what I call a victory lap. This may be the final tour of him and Michael together, of course, of this size. Joe Satriani, Jason Bonham and Riz on keyboards. It was really an amazing time had by all. 24 songs, sold out, and of course, Loverboy opening. Special thanks to everyone at Live Nation for making it happen. All these photos are by the one and only Daniel Gray, part of our team. And of course, hats off to Felix and everybody at Wolfson Entertainment, management for Loverboy, and very special thanks to Paul Dean and Mike Reno for making it all happen. Very, very exciting time, guys, going all the way back, almost 50 years now, to Vancouver and then down to LA. Of course, I helped put on some of Van Halen's very first shows in 78. They opened for Black Sabbath, Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver. I was part of that team that promoted those shows. And when I tell you, the Van Halen took no prisoners, they left no mercy. And certainly Black Sabbath had a real tough time following that. And Van Halen were arena headliners by the end of that tour. And of course, culminating in the meeting with Michael Anthony and Edward Van Halen down at Anaheim Stadium, where David Lee Roth conjured up the idea, we're going to parachute from the sky. It was Boston, Black Sabbath, Van Halen, and Sammy Hagar on the bill. And the people that parachuted landed right behind the stage, jumped into a truck. Out the other side of the truck comes Van Halen in matching parachute outfits, and the rest is history. After their set, Ed went over to Sammy's trailer and introduced himself, told him what a big fan he was of Montrose. Who knew a few years later Sammy would be joining the mighty, mighty Van Halen? But this was the tour, best of all worlds. And again, Live Nation tour, special thanks to Wolfson and, of course, Sammy's manager, Tom, for making it happen. We were there when Sammy recently got a star on Hollywood Boulevard, and the accolades keep coming. Couldn't be more well-deserved. Hats off to Mr. Hagar and his family, and many more. Wherever we see you next.